Hello friends. There's something mesmerizing about the moment an Aries man and a Leo woman step into the same room. An unmistakable spark that doesn't just glow, it practically erupts. Their connection feels like watching fire dance with fire, brilliant, intense, unpredictable, and breathlessly alive. But what really lies beneath this blazing attraction? How do these two fiery souls navigate love, passion, ego, conflict, and long-term growth together? Let's step into their world. After watching, if you'd like to support the channel, click the Thanks button right under this video or use the donation alerts link in the description. Your support really helps me keep creating. And of course, if you enjoy the content, please give it a like and subscribe so you don't miss what's coming next. Thanks so much for being here. Now let's continue. Chemistry. Initial attraction. An Aries man notices a Leo woman with the kind of instinctive recognition that feels almost mythic, like two ancient fires remembering each other across lifetimes. The moment she enters his line of sight, the world doesn't just pause, it subtly reorients itself around her presence. She moves as if she's carrying a personal spotlight that never burns out, a warm, golden illumination that makes the air feel charged the way the atmosphere does just before lightning strikes. Aries feels that shift immediately. It's as if a spark leaps from her aura to his bloodstream, igniting something primal, bold, and impossible to ignore. She radiates confidence not in a loud or aggressive way, but in that unmistakable, sovereign manner of someone who knows exactly who she is and doesn't need permission to shine. Her posture speaks of self-assurance, her expression carries a quiet authority, her presence is a blend of velvet and flame. She's the embodiment of warmth wrapped in charisma, and the Aries man recognizes her glow with the same instinctive clarity a flame recognizes oxygen. He sees her not simply as attractive, but as radiant, someone with a gravitational pull strong enough to command both attention and admiration without ever demanding it. He admires the subtle details first. The way her eyes scan a room with regal awareness, the way she smiles as if there's a private theater of golden thoughts playing behind her gaze, the way her laugh rings with the kind of unapologetic joy that comes from knowing you're allowed to take up space. To Aries, all of these things are like a signal flare. She's magnetic in a way that feels both elegant and untamed, polished but powerful, and the combination stirs something inside him that longs not only to pursue, but to conquer and be conquered in equal measure. She carries herself with a magnetic blend of elegance, strength, and solar warmth, as though she's part queen, part wildfire, part summer storm. People notice her, but Aries recognizes her. On some instinctive level, he sees in her a mirror of his own intensity, only expressed with more shine and less edge. For him, that's irresistible. He's drawn not merely to beauty but to brilliance, to the kind of presence that provokes action, courage, and desire. And in her, he sees all of that wrapped in a radiant, mesmerizing package. Meanwhile, the Leo woman experiences her own spark of fascination, but hers blooms differently. She finds the Aries man thrilling in a way that's immediate yet layered. His energy is raw, masculine, and unfiltered. There's no hesitation in the way he looks at her, no shy sidestepping, no coy games, no fear of her intensity. That alone catches her attention. She's not interested in timid admirers who crumble beneath her brightness. She wants someone who can withstand the heat, someone who doesn't shrink when she roars, someone who matches fire with fire. His boldness is the first thing she notices. It's not arrogance, although confidence radiates from him like heat from steel. It's more the boldness of someone who acts from instinct rather than insecurity. For her, that's intoxicating. Courage is a love language she understands intimately, and the Aries man speaks it fluently without even trying. He carries himself with the swagger of a warrior and the directness of someone who doesn't hide behind social masks. That kind of authenticity hits her like sunlight after a storm. His passion, unfiltered and unapologetic, speaks to something deep inside her. She senses in him a person who doesn't just live. He charges into life, claims it, wrestles with it, and loves every second of the challenge. That kind of spirit resonates with her own. Leo isn't looking for safety. She's looking for fire that complements her own flame. And Aries offers precisely that. To her, he feels like the beginning of an adventure, intense, vibrant, and thrillingly unpredictable. He looks at her with a spark that seems to say, "I choose you, not because you're a prize, but because your fire calls to mine." She doesn't want worship, she wants recognition. She doesn't want flattery, she wants connection. And in Aries' gaze, she feels seen, not as an untouchable queen atop a pedestal, but as a powerful equal someone is brave enough to pursue. Their attraction is instantaneous, almost cinematic, as if the moment their eyes lock, the script of reality shifts to accommodate their chemistry. There's admiration on both sides, not superficial admiration, but elemental admiration, the kind that's felt through the nervous system rather than filtered through the mind. Each sees in the other a reflection of their own fire, but expressed differently enough to be fascinating. Their early chemistry is so palpable that people nearby can sense a change in the air, a sort of vibration or brightness that seems to ripple outward. It's the kind of energy that makes conversations pause, makes heads turn, makes strangers wonder what force just entered the room. The two of them create a gravitational pull without trying, like celestial bodies drawn into orbit. When they flirt, it's not soft or subtle. It's bold, playful, edge of battlefield flirtation. Two warriors testing each other's energy, strength, humor, and confidence. Their exchanges have heat, wit, and delicious tension. Compliments come wrapped in challenges. Glances feel like sparks tossed onto dry tinder. Every interaction feels like a spark igniting another spark, building toward something that feels both inevitable and thrilling. Both Aries and Leo enjoy the chase, the thrill of pursuit, the emotional adrenaline that comes from testing boundaries and daring the other to respond. Aries loves the challenge of someone he cannot easily impress. Leo loves the attention of someone who is fearless enough not to be intimidated. Together, they create an ignition of boldness, passion, and playful competition that feels like fireworks unfolding in slow motion. Being around each other, they feel larger than life, more vibrant, more aware, more alive. Their energy amplifies, blending into a shared flame that glows with possibility. Their chemistry isn't just physical or emotional, it's elemental. They don't simply fall for each other, they combust into something bright, magnetic, and unforgettable, setting the stage for a connection that feels destined from the very first spark. Emotional dynamics. Emotionally, the Aries man and the Leo woman operate on a wavelength that few other zodiac pairings can reach, an instinctive, unspoken recognition that their hearts speak the same fiery dialect. It is as if their emotional energies are tuned to the same frequency, vibrating with a shared hunger for intensity, authenticity, and the kind of passion that sets an ordinary day ablaze with meaning. They don't simply want love, they want a love that moves, a love that challenges, a love that roars. Both of them crave excitement like oxygen, and when they find it in each other, the connection feels not only natural but inevitable. They both love with an audacity that can feel overwhelming to gentler souls. There's nothing timid or half-hearted about the way they experience emotion. They do everything with a kind of radiant force. They laugh loudly, they argue passionately, they celebrate extravagantly, and they feel deeply. Their affection is warm enough to melt cold walls and stubborn fears, an emotional heat that doesn't merely comfort but invigorates. When an Aries man and a Leo woman fall in love, they don't tiptoe around it. They leap, they dive, they surrender to the blaze and trust the fire to guide them. The Aries man expresses his emotions with the raw, untamed honesty of someone who believes feelings are meant to be lived out loud. He doesn't store them in neat boxes or hide them behind carefully curated expressions. When he feels something, it surges through him with immediacy and force, bursting out like a spark that catches fire the instant it touches air. His heart is impulsive but sincere. His emotions arrive fully formed, spontaneous declarations, sudden acts of devotion, intense moments of vulnerability that reveal a surprising softness beneath his bold exterior. He doesn't love slowly, he doesn't love quietly, he loves with forward momentum and brave transparency. The Leo woman, in contrast, loves with a majestic steadiness. Her emotional energy is luminous, golden, and unwavering. Her warmth is not erratic or explosive, it's regal and generous. Her devotion is the kind that builds kingdoms, inspires loyalty, and offers a steady flame that refuses to flicker even in strong winds. When she loves, she does so with her whole heart, and she expects that level of devotion in return, not because she demands worship but because her love is too powerful and too authentic to be met with anything less. If the Aries man is a flame dancing with wild spontaneity, the Leo woman is the sun, constant, radiant, and life-giving. Yet with such intensity on both sides, emotional clashes are inevitable. Their differences don't weaken the connection. Instead, they create a dramatic landscape where storms roll in quickly and clear just as fast. Aries burns hot, fast, and impulsively. His emotional reactions can be immediate and raw, like lightning splitting open a quiet sky. Leo burns steadily, but with pride woven into every heartbeat. She expects to be treated with dignity, appreciation, and admiration. When Aries speaks without thinking, something he does often, his bluntness can sting deeply, bruising her pride in ways he never intended. On the flip side, Leo's emotional presence can sometimes feel overwhelming to Aries. Her need for consistent affection, reassurance, and acknowledgement can collide with his need for independence and personal space. While Aries thrives on freedom, movement, and bursts of intensity, Leo desires steadiness, loyalty, and a sense of being valued as the center of her partner's world. When these needs clash, misunderstandings can erupt like sparks hitting dry grass. But their emotional compatibility remains exceptional because, despite their differences, both possess a rare gift: the ability to forgive quickly. Their hearts aren't designed to hold grudges. Fire signs don't cling to resentment, they burn through it. Aries may explode, and Leo may flare with wounded pride, but their conflicts are intense and short-lived. They express everything openly, clearly, and passionately, leaving little room for festering resentment. Their honesty keeps their emotional connection vibrant and unblocked. Both of them value passion over perfection. They would rather feel too much than feel nothing at all. They would rather have an emotional wildfire than a lukewarm calm. Their hearts are wired for intensity, connection, and transparency. They thrive in emotional landscapes that are colorful, dramatic, and alive with movement. Silence between them feels unnatural. Their relationship breathes through words, affection, laughter, and the constant exchange of energy. Together, they build an emotional environment that is equal parts battlefield and celebration, a place where arguments can erupt like thunderstorms but are followed by reconciliations filled with warmth, tenderness, and renewed fire. Their relationship is a living flame, dynamic, unpredictable, bold. Fireworks are normal for them. Emotional sparks fly constantly, sometimes bursting into brilliant displays of passion, sometimes into fiery disagreements, but always clearing into an atmosphere of connection that feels richer and stronger after every storm. In their shared emotional world, silence is rare because neither of them is built for quiet hearts. They express, they reveal, they confess, they argue, they love, and through it all, their emotional bond deepens. They create a love filled with drama and devotion, intensity and warmth, fire and sunlight. Together, they don't just feel, they blaze. Long-term compatibility. Long-term, the relationship between an Aries man and a Leo woman unfolds like an epic saga, an adventure shared between two heroic spirits who refuse to live small, think small, or love small. Their connection doesn't settle into the quiet domestic rhythm many couples gravitate toward. Instead, it becomes an ever-expanding journey filled with ambition, movement, and the thrill of conquering life side by side. They thrive on shared victories, spontaneous decisions, and plans that are almost too big, too bright, too bold for others to imagine. Routine feels like a cage to both of them. Predictability feels like a dimming of the flame. Excitement is the oxygen that keeps their bond burning strong, and both are willing to create it, chase it, or reinvent it whenever needed. In the long run, they grow stronger through action. They build memories not from quiet nights but from challenges overcome together, risks taken hand in hand, dreams chased with fiery determination. Their relationship is filled with high-energy moments, road trips planned at midnight, projects launched with fearless enthusiasm, arguments that spark growth instead of distance, reconciliations that only deepen their emotional roots. Together, they feel like a legendary duo, a force capable of shaping their own destiny. But longevity demands more than raw passion. It requires evolution, patience learned through trial, empathy cultivated through conflict, and respect nurtured through time. Fire alone cannot sustain a lifetime bond unless it knows how to warm rather than scorch. For an Aries man and a Leo woman, this means learning how to temper their flames without extinguishing them. Aries must learn to soften his impulses, especially when Leo's pride is involved. His tendency to speak before thinking, to react before understanding, can cut deeper than he ever intends. A single careless remark, delivered in a moment of frustration and forgotten just as quickly, can wound Leo's regal heart in ways he might struggle to comprehend. She is strong, yes, but her pride is tender, deeply connected to her sense of self-worth. Aries must learn that passion doesn't always require bluntness, and honesty doesn't always require sharp edges. At the same time, Leo must learn to loosen her grip, to give Aries space to breathe, to create, to explore, and to exist independently without interpreting his need for freedom as rejection or lack of love. Aries loves with movement, with adventure, with spontaneity. When he feels confined, controlled, or overly managed, he begins to rebel, not out of disinterest but out of instinct. Leo, with her natural desire to be at the center of her partner's world, must understand that Aries can adore her fiercely even while needing time away to pursue his own passions. When she gives him that freedom, he always returns with more love, more energy, and more devotion. When they achieve the delicate balance between freedom and togetherness, they become genuinely unstoppable. Their partnership becomes a fusion of fire and purpose, excitement and loyalty, independence and unity. They start functioning not as two competing flames, but as a single blaze with two distinct strengths, Aries bringing spontaneity and courage, Leo bringing stability and vision. Their long-term success depends heavily on understanding the difference between leading and controlling. Aries cannot tolerate domination, Leo cannot tolerate disrespect. If either tries to overpower the other, the relationship cracks. But when they learn the art of shared leadership, something beautiful happens. Aries leads with action, charging ahead, creating momentum, taking courageous steps that break obstacles and forge paths. Leo leads with vision, seeing the bigger picture, inspiring direction, and ensuring that their joint journey has purpose and meaning beyond the immediate thrill. In this shared leadership, they discover the secret to lasting fire. They don't have to compete for the crown, they can each wear their own. As the years pass, their relationship becomes a masterpiece of growth. They learn to communicate with more intention, forgive with more grace, and love with even more fire. Their arguments become shorter and more productive. Their adventures become richer. Their respect for each other deepens into something unshakable. If both commit to emotional maturity, learning when to step forward, when to step back, when to speak, and when to listen, they evolve into a true power couple. Not the flashy, superficial type, but the kind that inspires others simply by existing. They become bold without being reckless, passionate without being destructive, independent without drifting apart. Their connection becomes a fortress built brick by brick from devotion, ambition, and unbreakable loyalty. Together, they radiate a shared strength that feels almost mythic, two bright, burning forces moving through life not as competitors, but as partners destined to light up the world. Communication conflict resolution. Communication between an Aries man and a Leo woman is never muted, never lukewarm, never wrapped in layers of polite restraint. It's fiery, expressive, passionate, and occasionally explosive, like watching two bright sparks collide in midair, creating brilliant displays of light that can dazzle or scorch depending on the moment. Neither of them is wired to hide their feelings. Neither is comfortable with bottling things up. And neither, absolutely neither, likes backing down once a conflict begins. This dynamic creates a communicative landscape that is bold, intense, and charged with emotional voltage. Their conversations often have a cinematic quality. Even everyday discussions feel animated because both Aries and Leo speak with more emotion than most people even feel. When conflict arises, their dialogues can transform into theatrical exchanges, voices raised not out of cruelty but out of passion, gestures animated, emotions vivid, words sharp and blazing with honesty. Their disagreements resemble summer thunderstorms, sudden, loud, dramatic, and powerful, yet usually short-lived. The storm rises fast, rains hard, and clears quickly, leaving the air fresher than before. Aries fights to be understood. For him, communication is an act of clarity. He believes that if something is felt, it must be said right away. His style is direct, unfiltered, and sometimes too blunt. He doesn't dress his words in softness or diplomacy. He simply speaks what he feels as he feels it. His goal in conflict is not to dominate, but to be crystal clear, to express his heart without hesitation. When he raises his voice, it's because he's trying to push truth through emotional noise. He wants the tension addressed immediately, solved immediately, and forgotten immediately. To him, lingering issues feel like weighted chains, and unresolved tension feels like suffocation. Leo, on the other hand, fights to be respected. Her communication style is emotional yet dignified, passionate yet poised. She wants her feelings seen and her presence valued. She needs her partner to recognize not just what she says, but who she is as she says it. When she raises her voice, it's not to overpower but to defend her dignity, a dignity sacred to her identity. A conflict, to Leo, isn't merely about the issue at hand, it's about how she's being treated in the moment. She wants her emotions validated, her loyalty appreciated, her pride protected. When those needs are ignored, the lioness roars. And both of them fight to win, not because they need dominance, but because fire signs don't like surrender. Surrender feels like losing their power, losing their identity, losing their voice. Aries must feel heard, Leo must feel honored. Without that, neither will step back. But with it, oh, the transformation is remarkable. The key to their conflict resolution lies in understanding the motivations beneath the fire. Aries needs quick, direct communication. Delays frustrate him, silence confuses him, emotional withdrawals feel like weapons. He needs immediacy, immediate expression, immediate clarity, immediate conclusion. He wants to resolve the storm before it builds into a hurricane. The longer a conflict sits unresolved, the more agitated he becomes. For him, moving forward is everything. Leo needs acknowledgement, not flattery, not appeasement, acknowledgement. She wants her feelings seen clearly, her concerns taken seriously, her dignity respected. She wants her partner to understand the emotional weight behind her words, to meet her with presence rather than impatience. When she feels acknowledged, her fierce energy softens. Her heart opens, her roar quiets into a purr. When they communicate with mutual compassion instead of ego, everything shifts. Their conflicts stop being battles and become breakthroughs. Their arguments turn into pathways toward deeper understanding. They begin to see each other not as opponents, but as partners navigating the storm together. Aries learns to slow down just enough to truly hear Leo. Leo learns to soften just enough to let Aries express himself freely without feeling like she's losing control of the conversation. Their reconciliations are legendary, loud, passionate, and filled with renewed fire. They don't merely make up, they reconnect with intensity. There is laughter, tenderness, dramatic gestures, heartfelt apologies that feel like love declarations, and an emotional closeness that becomes stronger each time they survive a storm. Their conflicts don't weaken them, they fortify them. They bring clarity, growth, and a deeper appreciation of each other's emotional needs. An Aries-Leo fight may shake the walls, but their reunion shakes the soul. Their love thrives not because they avoid conflict, but because they alchemize conflict into connection, turning sparks into flames, flames into light, and light into an unbreakable bond. Physical intimate connection. Their intimate connection is nothing short of electric, an encounter of two fires that do not cancel each other out, but instead amplify into something brighter, hotter, and strikingly alive. When an Aries man and a Leo woman come together physically, it feels less like a simple meeting of bodies and more like a collision of elemental forces. There is an immediate charge, a magnetic pull that seems to bypass logic and go straight to instinct. Aries brings intensity, spontaneity, and fearless passion, approaching intimacy with the same boldness he applies to every thrill in life. Leo brings warmth, creative sensuality, and a confident magnetism that turns ordinary moments into something cinematic. Together, they create a physical bond that is both exhilarating and deeply meaningful, fueled not just by desire but by emotional recognition. Their chemistry is vibrant, alive with heat. Aries ignites the moment with raw energy and eagerness, driven by the irresistible gravitational pull he feels toward Leo's radiance. His touch is bold, immediate, expressive. It says everything he feels without the need for carefully structured words. Leo meets that energy with a regal sensuality, a natural command of passion that blends tenderness with dramatic intensity. She knows how to make everything feel intentional, artistic, memorable. Her presence in intimate moments is warm enough to melt hesitation and confident enough to coax out Aries' deepest desires. They feed each other's fire in ways that feel natural and effortless. Aries inspires Leo to unleash facets of herself that may remain dormant with gentler partners, to be wilder, bolder, freer, to let passion sweep her into moments of unrestrained pleasure. He makes her feel youthful, daring, empowered. Leo, meanwhile, inspires Aries to tap into deeper layers of intimacy, to be more heartfelt, more expressive, more connected. She teaches him the beauty of slowing just enough to savor the emotional undercurrent beneath the heat, inviting him to explore intimacy not only as a thrill but as an art. Their connection thrives because neither of them wants stillness in their physical life. Stagnation feels like death to both. They enjoy keeping the flame alive through new experiences, playful energy, surprising touches, dramatic gestures, and their ever-present fiery chemistry. They thrive on intensity, on emotional closeness, on novelty that doesn't break their bond but strengthens it through shared adventure. When they kiss, it's passionate. When they touch, it's meaningful. When they embrace, it's electrifying in a way that lingers long after they part. Their intimacy feels like an ongoing conversation spoken entirely in heat. The Aries man feels profoundly alive in Leo's embrace. Her warmth surrounds him like sunlight, her confidence draws honesty from him, and her passion fuels his desire to give everything he has. With her, he feels unrestrained yet grounded, wild yet understood. She makes him feel chosen, not casually, not temporarily, but wholeheartedly, as if she recognizes something rare in him. That recognition sparks the deepest parts of his passion. The Leo woman, in turn, feels cherished, desired, and adored in a way that amplifies her inner glow. Aries doesn't just touch her, he worships her with the raw devotion of someone who sees her as extraordinary. His passion makes her feel powerful yet soft, admired yet held, like the center of a universe built specifically around her radiance. She thrives on his hunger, his intensity, his absolute presence in the moment. It makes her feel seen, wanted, and emotionally nourished. Their physical intimacy strengthens their emotional bond in profound ways. Every passionate moment becomes a reaffirmation of their connection. Every kiss reminds them of their compatibility. Every embrace pulls them closer to the truth of why they chose each other in the first place. Their bodies communicate what their hearts sometimes struggle to articulate, that this bond is more than desire. It is recognition. It is connection. It is fire meeting fire and learning not to burn, but to illuminate. Through intimacy, they renew their devotion, heal conflict, deepen trust, and rediscover the power of their bond. Their physical connection acts as both a grounding force and a spark, guiding them back to each other repeatedly with heightened affection and unshakable magnetism. Together, they create a physical world that is passionate, dynamic, and impossible to forget. A world where fire doesn't consume but transforms, making their love burn brighter every time they touch. Shared values, life goals. Both Aries and Leo value passion, independence, adventure, and authenticity at a core level that feels almost woven into their DNA. These aren't just preferences, they are fundamental needs, the emotional fuel that keeps each of them burning brightly. When an Aries man and a Leo woman join forces, they quickly realize they share a worldview built on intensity and purpose. They both want a life that feels meaningful, dynamic, and vibrant, not a quiet, predictable existence lived in muted tones. They crave a life painted in bold colors, full of unforgettable moments, courageous choices, personal triumphs, and experiences that make them feel alive from the inside out. They thrive on ambition and challenges. Both signs are natural-born leaders in their own right. Aries charges into new quests with fearless enthusiasm, while Leo oversees grand visions with regal focus and flair. They don't fear the unknown, they hunger for it. They don't shy away from difficulty, they grow stronger because of it. And neither is content with mediocrity. Together, they elevate each other's standards, dreams, and confidence. Their shared spark becomes a shared mission: build a life worthy of their fire. They understand each other's need to accomplish big dreams because they both think in terms of scale, big, not small. Aries sees life as a journey filled with mountains to climb, battles to win, and new territories to explore. Leo sees life as a stage, a kingdom, a canvas meant for greatness, expression, and legacy. When these two combine their strengths, their ambitions multiply. Aries pushes Leo to take bold steps. Leo encourages Aries to refine his path with purpose. They motivate each other through admiration, mutual respect, and passionate support. Aries values courage, action, and progress. He wants movement. He wants momentum. He wants to feel like he is constantly evolving, conquering, creating, and breaking through barriers. Stagnation is his enemy. He believes deeply in personal growth and independence. To him, life is an adventure meant to be lived full throttle. Leo values loyalty, pride, and recognition. She wants her integrity honored, her efforts seen, and her heart appreciated. She invests herself fully in what she loves, her work, her relationships, her dreams, and she expects the same dedication in return. For her, a meaningful life is built on devotion, passion, and a sense of shining purpose. Together, they can build a life filled with achievements, excitement, and mutual support, one that feels like a shared empire rather than two isolated journeys. Their shared goals often revolve around building something meaningful together, whether it's a career, a family, a home, a business, or even a lifestyle that reflects both of their inner fires. They're dreamers, yes, but they're also doers. They don't just imagine a better future, they actively shape it. Traveling and exploring become a natural extension of their relationship. Aries brings spontaneity and a desire to chase the unknown, while Leo brings a sense of romance and grandeur to every journey. Together, they turn simple trips into adventures and adventures into cherished memories. Whether they're exploring new cities, hiking trails, learning new cultures, or simply embarking on last-minute weekend getaways, each experience deepens their bond and enriches their shared narrative. Achieving personal success is another cornerstone of their partnership. Aries pushes himself relentlessly, and Leo thrives when she feels she is shining in her chosen arena. Instead of competing with one another, they encourage and celebrate each other's victories. Aries becomes Leo's champion, cheering her on, believing in her potential, inflaming her courage. Leo becomes Aries' anchor, reminding him of his worth, supporting his ambitions, and giving his efforts meaning beyond the adrenaline rush. Creating a loving, warm home matters to both of them, even if neither is particularly traditional. Their home becomes an extension of their personalities, vibrant, full of warmth, full of laughter, full of life. It is a place of celebration, creativity, passion, and emotional honesty. A place where fires burn brightly without burning out. They may not be the quiet, cozy couple who settles into routine, but they create a space that reflects their dreams and supports their growth. Supporting each other's ambitions is perhaps the strongest pillar of their shared values. Aries and Leo do not try to dim each other's light, at least not when they're at their best. They understand that loving someone means allowing them to shine. Aries admires Leo's strength and charisma. Leo admires Aries' courage and drive. They uplift each other, they motivate each other, and they build together. When one succeeds, both feel the victory. When one struggles, both rise to meet the challenge. Their values align naturally, but the key to their long-term harmony is ensuring neither partner overshadows the other. Both signs are powerful, bright, and commanding. If they begin competing instead of collaborating, their fire turns destructive. But when they grow together, and not in competition, they become a team capable of greatness. Aries brings the spark, Leo brings the flame, and together they build a fire that lights the world around them. In their shared values and life goals, they find not only compatibility, but a shared destiny, a life of passion, ambition, adventure, and soul-deep partnership that feels as bold and brilliant as they are. Final thoughts. The love between an Aries man and a Leo woman is nothing short of extraordinary, an emotional phenomenon that feels almost cosmic in its intensity, as if the universe itself conspired to bring together two flames that burn brighter in each other's presence. Their connection is built on passion, admiration, and a shared fire that refuses to dim no matter how many storms they weather or how many years pass. When these two meet, something unmistakable happens. Their energies recognize each other. They feel seen, matched, challenged, awakened. It is as if each instinctively understands that the other is not merely a partner, but a catalyst, someone who will ignite the very best and most daring parts of their spirit. They challenge each other in ways that elevate both of them. Aries pushes Leo to take bold leaps, to trust her instincts even more deeply, to believe in her own greatness without hesitation. Leo encourages Aries to refine his fire, to transform raw passion into purpose, and to channel his courage into something lasting and meaningful. They excite each other with their very presence, filling the air between them with sparks, those little emotional detonations that come from shared ambition, shared intensity, and shared dreams. They inspire each other to reach higher, aim bigger, and live fuller. Their love is not a quiet whisper, it is a roar, vibrant, unapologetic, and unrestrained. But like all powerful forces, this relationship demands understanding, patience, and care. Fire can be a beautiful creator of warmth, but if handled recklessly, it can also become destructive. Their bond thrives when both partners learn to tame their egos, not extinguish them, but guide them with intention. Aries must learn that victory in love is not about being right, it's about being present and compassionate. Leo must learn that strength in love is not about control, it's about vulnerability and heartfelt acknowledgement. When they communicate with respect, when they pause to listen, when they treat each other's emotions as sacred, their connection deepens from something passionate into something profound. They must embrace each other's differences as complementary forces. Aries is impulsive, spontaneous, and fearless. Leo is steady, expressive, and proud. Aries burns fast and bright, Leo burns long and golden. Together, they can create a fire that warms, not burns, illuminates, not blinds. It becomes a flame they can walk into without fear, knowing it will strengthen them instead of consuming them. When they reach this level of emotional maturity, their relationship becomes almost mythical in its strength. Aries brings courage, Leo brings heart. Aries provides momentum, Leo provides vision. Aries is the spark, Leo is the flame. And together, they create a light that others can feel just by being near them. Aries and Leo together are dramatic, passionate, unforgettable, not because they try to be, but because that is simply who they are. Their love story is written not in ink, but in sparks, sparks from laughter, from arguments that turn into breakthroughs, from victories celebrated, from challenges conquered side by side. Their love crackles with energy, with purpose, with wild, exhilarating devotion. And if they nurture it with tenderness, humility, and mutual respect, this is a story that doesn't fade with time. It evolves, it grows stronger, it becomes the kind of love people tell stories about, the kind of bond that feels destined, fiery, legendary. A love that lasts not only a season or a chapter, but a lifetime.